Conversations about how the world's best apps grow by design, not by chance, with the people and systems behind them.
It's very easy to build the app, but what is more expensive, what is more different and unpredictable is growth. I believe this App Store optimization, it's already dead. We need our ads to be very aggressive. Any health and fitness app competes with YouTube first. In the business sense, web to app right now it's a content factory. The strongest motivations are sex and self-improvement. We can expect from video creatives much higher trust and much higher retention metrics and LTV simultaneously that from static creatives.
Well, hello and welcome to Growth by Design. Conversations about how world's best apps grow by design, not by chance, and with people and systems behind them. And I'm so happy to introduce our very first guest. This is Vasyl Sergiienko, and he's customer solution manager at Meta. And he's, I would call him growth manager because he's an expert on health and fitness apps. Thank you so much, Vasyl, for joining me today, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Great pleasure.
I'm really excited about our today's conversation, and to warm up, I want to ask you some kind of personal questions related to your career, to your background. So I wanted to ask, when you started your career, like back then, did you even ever imagine yourself working at such a big, great company as Meta? Or life did it to you just unexpectedly? Could you please share a bit with our audience?
Cool, absolutely. At the beginning, right now, I work as a client solution manager with digital apps, with digital businesses. Majority of them are health and fitness apps. And I work with these businesses for 5 years. Me and our team, we design to support our clients to grow, which resonates to the name of your podcast, Designed for Growth. And during the 5 years, I had this experience helping different businesses to grow. It was an amazing time because during the time we saw quite a transformation in this business from classical app install campaigns, app install kind of when people were spending money, investing money in app install campaigns. Right now, majority of this business utilizes web to app. And during this time, we saw this kind of transformation. We had Scan, and we changed the rules of the game in this business, and we completely transitioned to web to app, which is slightly different in terms of strategy and everything. So it was amazing 5 years. Before that, I started my career as an entrepreneur. I was looking for a job for a while, and then it ended up that it was difficult for me. And I read at this time TechCrunch, and one article was describing about an interesting business. They were making custom iPhone cases. And I was inspired by that and decided to do the same for myself. And from that time, it started my career as a digital marketer. I've built this business completely by myself. I was hustling around. I was, trying to make it profitable, bootstrapping, and I made it. I made the first. There was a first challenge to make it technically possible to design to print these cases. Another one was to make a website and promote this website. So it was my first digital marketing experience. It ended up successfully, and I had a couple of other ventures after that. Then I ended up as an employee in the digital business when I was a digital marketer as well. Definitely at that time, I didn't dream to be part of Meta or in Google, though I submitted a couple of applications to Google back at that time. But all of them were rejected. And it was a dream, definitely, though I didn't understand what does it mean for me. And I believe being a kind of young marketer, you hardly imagine how is it work at Meta or at Google. And I actually ended up in Meta having my own experience, which which is kind of advantage for me, because being at Meta, it's from one point, you have access to everything, but if you have no personal experience, it's very difficult to navigate through all this information, and it's very difficult to understand without practical experience how you can help businesses which you work with if you don't have this type of experience. It was not my story. I already had experience. I already knew how this business works, what are the challenges every single marketer has. This is why for me it was much easier to understand and speak with them the same language. Yes, this is my story briefly.
Oh, thank you so much, Vasyl. Very interesting background, and I think nothing tells you more about growth than being an entrepreneur. So you basically felt it by yourself, and very interesting story. I'm also reading TechCrunch, and I won't ask you whether you prefer iPhone or Android. I guess the answer is obvious, or not. You created these cases for iPhones, or you maybe use now a smartphone on Android.
I switched to iPhone directly from my Nokia.
Ah, yeah. Nokia is old classics, return Nokia. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Very interesting. And you mentioned that you already had this expertise you needed. But I think a lot of people listening to our podcast would ask how building growth at such a corporation, sorry for this word, but I think Meta is huge. It's a huge business. How building growth at such a big company is different from working for smaller teams, for smaller companies. I think you have this experience too, and you can compare for yourself and share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Working at this type of as you said, corporations, you have two options actually. The first one, you can act from the Meta perspective, right? You can be totally detached from the businesses you work with, and you have some KPIs and everything. From another side, you can, and this kind of detachment gives you totally different perspective, because you are not emotionally attached to this business. And you have visibility not only one business case, but to a couple of them, right? From another point, you can treat yourself as a part of the team which you work with, right? You can meet with them. You join goals, join projects, and you can have this feeling that, okay, I'm not part of the team, but still the joint success, I still belong to this success, and I still do something which impacts to this real business case. While you're working on a real, on a business, right? As we said, on the client side, you have only one perspective, right? You are only you're only client shoes. You attach to this business, and all your KPIs are attached to the results of this business, and you are you become very biased, right? You make your decisions, and then you are biased towards these decisions, and it's very difficult for you to see on yourself from the outside, from the, let's say, bird point of view. In Meta, it's easier, right? It's from mine, it's easier to see it on from the bird point of view. From another side, it's very important to understand which businesses we are working with, just to have this access to the business and understand that you are part of the team as well. But the most important part is this big picture view, which gives you leverage, which gives you understanding. Okay, this business works in this way. I know a couple of other businesses. I see this couple of businesses as well, and then you can compare what is missing, what you can add, what you can improve. And I used to think about this, that working with one single business, you live through one business case, per period of time. Working with a couple of clients, you see 2, 3, 4 business cases at the same time, which really gives you much more experience as a marketer, right? Because you live through these cases. All the cases are different. Then at the end, as you have visibility to different business cases, you understand, okay, what are the people behind these businesses? This perspective for me was absolutely impossible to see when I working on the business side. That it's very difficult to change perspective. You work as a I don't know, media buyer, or you work like a head of acquisition. You are in these numbers all the time. Being at Meta, you can see this business, you can see big numbers of this business, and even more importantly, you can see people who are behind this business. And then having access to like different businesses, a couple of more businesses, you can see that how these businesses are different because people who are doing these businesses are different as well, right? And for me, it was really cool to see this people perspective of the businesses, which was absolutely impossible for me before. And then if you're talking about growth, being at Meta, you have just more data, and you can at the same time you can advise some risky cases which you would not take when you were doing that on your own hands, just because it would be too risky. Being at Meta, you can offer different cases, even kind of more risky ones, and then it's on the client side whether it's important, it's when they can take them or not, and you can watch these cases, watch this test, and be not biased. It's not your decision, it's not your business. You just kind of see, and this experience just makes your experience much stronger. This is what I would say, the difference between kind of being at Meta or being on the client side, being on the business side, is it's just a balance. It's just a balance, less emotional connection, and more access to different business cases at the same time.
Very interesting take on about like human, like because behind every business there is a human being, a person, and you mentioned that it directly impacts how the business is run and what works and what's not. And when you're working like within one company, one business, you are like boiling within this pot, and you have like this versatile view. But I think it's sometimes also challenging because I don't know how you cope with that, but when you are working with a few big companies and you see when something works for one company, I think sometimes you can be like induced to apply something to another business, and project what worked for them, but it wouldn't always work for them, right? Because
yeah, absolutely. And then this is the beauty of working on the Meta side is it was the first time when I witnessed that the difference why something works in one business and doesn't work in another business. The difference is people, actually, not the strategy, but the people who are making it work. This is very important. And yeah, I opened this, the experience at Meta actually opened my eyes on this perspective. In some cases, we're like, why this tool doesn't work for this client? And the answer is like, just because they don't have people, or like people who are doing this stuff are not motivated enough, or like their leadership doesn't prioritize this stuff, right? So all the hard things are the same, but the soft part is different. This is why results are different as well. And only having access to a couple of these businesses, a couple of these cases, and being able to speak with these people opens you to this perspective.
Yeah, thank you so much. And also, I understand that they might have like common audience, common segments of target audience, but they might have tiny differences. Like, for example, the audience on Google Play and the App Store is different for the same apps. So I guess for similar apps, it also can be different. So one size doesn't fit all. So thank you, Vasyl. And now let's discuss, I really like this topic, health and fitness, because you are an expert on this app category, really fast-growing category. And I wanted to ask you, which growth playbooks, tactics, common strategies from other app categories, for example, I don't know, finance, socials, that work for those other categories would fail for health and fitness? Or it's pretty similar to other categories?
It's similar, but definitely not that much. So health and fitness is very interesting, and yeah, one of the biggest verticals right now, specifically in web to app. It's probably the biggest one, and what we see last 2-3 years, probably two, we see competition is really growing in this vertical, really dramatically. We had a couple of very interesting cases of businesses which grew up on ads. We saw some cases from organic growth. We saw some cases from influential marketing growth. But what I personally didn't see a lot of cases of organic growth, really. So this is why I don't believe that right now it's possible to utilize Apple Store optimization, for instance, to have some significant growth in this vertical, just because this vertical is so saturated. Overall, people are so saturated with different apps. It's huge competition between platforms like Meta, Google, YouTube, TikTok for their time. This is why they just don't have enough time to go and search something in App Store. This is why we need to go and find these people on the discovery stage, right? Not on the consideration, on discovery stage, trying to find them somewhere else. This is why I believe this App Store optimization, it's already dead, at least for kind of medium companies or bigger companies. It can be some kind of supportive channel, but it's never going to be the main kind of driver of the growth for the app, for the business itself. Another very popular model is to drive installs and then convert people later, right? Which doesn't work in this vertical as well. Why? Just the logic of this health and fitness is very important. As we're talking about the discovery stage, then we're talking about we need to motivate people enough to install the app. And then we have slightly people, we have some short period of time when people are still interested in the app, and then we should leverage this time to make them to buy, right? We cannot expect that people are going to install the app and then can go back to the app somewhere else in the future and then buy it. No, it doesn't work. We have pretty short kind of attention span of these people, and we need to convince them to buy the app, right? This is the best moment. This is why expecting to drive installs and then maybe giving them a try and then kind of make them to buy in the future, it doesn't work as well. What else? But I believe this one is the most important, that don't wait for people, just go and find these people. And another one is build the app when you already know how you're gonna attract this, how you're gonna get people, how you're gonna make these people install your app. This is one of the most important. They're not the playbooks that I have an idea to build the app and then I can somehow grow this app. No, think about the growth in the beginning. It's right now in the current world. It's very easy to build the app. It's very fast. It's not expensive. But what is more expensive, what is more different and unpredictable is growth. This is why I think about growth first, and then the challenge, the way how you planning, how you checked that kind of this growth works for you, this strategy which you found out works for you, then build the app which would fit to these strategies the most. This is, I would say, one of the most important case right now. Growth first and then app, instead of app and then decide how to grow it further.
Wow, interesting, very interesting take, I think, for our audience, because because you should basically build your product around like people's needs, because you need to know what your target audience wants, how you're going to promote it, how you're going to make them install and buy. And also you mentioned that organic growth wouldn't work, so like if you're planning to launch and promote your health and fitness app, be ready to have a budget for paid promotion, because otherwise it might not work. Yeah, and right you are, it's very easy now to like launch an app. There are millions of apps launched, I think, every day or like every month, but only like a dozen of them shine eventually in the market. And also you mentioned that you cannot just make users install the app and then like do something with that. So as far as I understood, motivational drops, they exist for this app category, right? And seasonal trends, because judging by me, like one day you want to like, I don't know, make squats and home workouts, like switch to healthy way of life, and like in a week you don't want. So yeah, it's important to grab this moment to like meet your target users at this specific moment when they have high intent, like to install such an app, right?
Yes, absolutely true, and it's a fundamental problem, fundamental question in this vertical, because we're talking about discovery stage, right? So we are gonna get people in this discovery stage, which means people are just scrolling their feed and they're not looking for something specifically, right? We need to grab their attention. This is why we need our ads to be very aggressively, or at least aggressively enough to grab their attention, to kind of to have this some stopping moment for these people, right? So we should start with something really, really strong. Let's say classical example is lose weight with zero efforts, right? We have lose weight here. We know that in the US and overall in the world, the obesity problem is increasing, and we know that huge amount of people they really are obese and want to lose weight. So it's very broad problem. And another one is with zero efforts, right? So which makes this overall statement, everyone wants it. It's you know, like it's very easy to grab people's attention with this hook. But the problem is that it's very close to mispromising. It's false promising, because you cannot achieve something with zero effort, specifically losing weight, right? But we are kind of attracting people with this statement, and then we, in the classical web to app example, after the ad we have a web funnel, right? And this web funnel is designed, this is the another one mismatch between classical app install kind of logic, app install campaigns logic, when we have in-app onboarding, which is designed to onboard people to the app, right? To show the kind of, to show some use cases which people can utilize this app for. In the web to app case, we have web funnel, which is designed to sell the app, right? It's not designed to onboard people on something, right? So this funnel doesn't show, in your case, squats. It shows benefits of being fit, right? Making people dream how they are going to be fit, how they lose, I don't know, 10 kilos or more. And then dreaming through this funnel. And at the end of this funnel, their purchase intent is on the highest stake. It's really the highest. This is the best moment to put your paywall and monetize on this purchase intent. And then what is happening when people make a purchase, then they install the app. And in this app, they understand that actually I need to make some exercises to lose weight, right? It's already, we have some mismatch between the first statement, like lose weight with zero efforts, and what app really gives them. And in this moment, we see the highest drop in willingness to use the app, right? And this is a mismatch within the creatives and then the app itself. And we have this trade-off: the higher difference between the entry point and the app itself, the more and cheaper users you can get. The less difference, the more expensive user you can get, and the less users you can get. But at the end, people will have much realistic expectations for the app, and they can stay within your app for a much longer period of time. And this is the trade-off. It's a very kind of business fundamental question where you can go. You can go, I don't know, maybe to much higher kind of pricing points, much more expensive subscriptions, and less number of users, or you want to go to the kind of broad audience with lower prices, but understanding that you'll have much higher drop in retention metrics when people were starting using the app. This is the fundamental trade-off which business needs to think about in the early beginning.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's how it really works. Like for other categories too, I think the narrower the audience is, the more expensive it might be for you, but the higher the eventual conversion can be, like to not to install but to purchase, and further down the funnel. And also you mentioned this fit between like creatives and like this web to app funnel, and I want to ask you about web to app a lot, but let's start with creatives. Like what, based on your experience, really drives people in health and fitness? Like we already discussed about these motivational drops and seasonal spikes, but have you noticed that something works like specifically well, like emotion, like push on transformation, like motivational motors, or there is nothing like that works for all apps in this category?
Cool. Thanks for the question. I like using old American marketing books to answer these questions. In the 80s, 90s, we have a lot of interesting books which describe how people buy, why people buy, what are the motivation what is the motivation drives them to the actions. And these books write that the strongest motivations are sex and self-improvement. This is two the biggest motivators people actually follow making their decisions. And I will start with the problem. Right now, again, this app business, it's web to app business. It's very much content business, and businesses who are successful there, they produce huge amount of creatives. They work on content much more than on anything else. And then on this rush, we need to do more, and faster. And in some cases, people really forget to think about kind of their users' motivation, right? They're just making like copy paste of competitors' creatives and try to kind of to make it better, try to achieve some success. While we really need to think about people's motivation first. It's very important. Another thing which is very important as well is just to understand what is the most important for people. And people care mostly about about themselves. It's very important that people don't care about apps, they don't care about solutions, they don't care about us, they don't care about anything else except them. People care mostly about themselves. This is why health and fitness probably is so important, is so big, because the first one is it is about self-improvement, right? And it's about self-improvement of people. And this is why our ads should talk to people and should show them not how our app great it is, but how these people can be much better using our products and solution, how they can be happier, how they can be more fulfilled. And why? Just because people don't care about anything else except them. They care about them, and we should find kind of keys to these people, talking about them and promising them that using our solution, they can be much better, they can be much healthier. And if you look in as library, you can find huge amount of these examples when we are talking about kind of, okay, take the product and then you can be better, you can be fit, you can be much smarter, you can be the smartest person in the room, you can talk as CEO, and everything that. It's all about people, and I believe the strongest hook in this business overall are the hooks which are talking about people and how good they can be. And then another point is that emotions is important, but another thing is people do use logic as well, right? So we need to utilize logic kind of to make people to make people act on their emotion. And the best structure of the communication, best structure of the message is the following: that the first one, we utilize tension, then we talk about desire, and then we end up with call to action, right? It's very cool because it describes overall the logic of ads, web funnel, and the paywall in the product itself, right? Because using the funnel, it's important. Funnel is very long, and we can utilize it for talking with person, like finding some questions which this question is designed in a way to make people believe that, okay, these people, this business, this app really knows what they're talking about. They really knows me, they really know me, and they really know how to help me, right? And then kind of logically people come to the decision that, okay, probably I need to buy this product. And then if you're talking about kind of motivators, they are like, we have some fundamental motivators, but then behind this, after these motivators, we have some pain points, right? Because we can explore people's pain points, which then can be transformed as a creative concepts. And then this creative concept, actually they start with the pain point. For example, we have this dopamine addiction, which was very, very popular right now, like this year. Like dopamine addiction became very, very popular topic overall in media, in YouTube, among podcasters. People started to believe that it's kind of, they have dopamine addiction and they need a solution. And then based on this strong pain point, we can offer them some kind of ads and funnel which would convince them that using our app, they can tackle this dopamine addiction and can be a much better person. So to sum up, emotions is everything. Just because we are trying to find these people in the discovery phase, we need to be strong enough to compete with organic content and make people click. But then we should understand that people are logical, and before making a decision, they utilize logic as well, and they see kind of some pros and cons behind that. And our funnel should be kind of designed in a way to answer their logical questions as well. But at the end of the day, we are working within the very known kind of people's pain points, and the more these pain points we have, the more creatives we can produce, and the bigger business we can grow following that.
So you simultaneously need to deliver value that a person gets if they install your app, and at the same time push on this pain point. Like for example, struggling to lose weight, suffering from that, and some people might think, oh yeah, that's me, I'm not eating much, and for other people, for example, who have this dopamine addiction you mentioned, for them something like that might work, like reach a new milestone like every day or every week, and they are, oh yeah, that's what I want to reach. So I think it's important to highlight that there are different types of people, humans we discussed already today, and that's also important to find approach to each segment, because for some of them are gainers, achievers, they want to achieve something, and you should push on that with your messaging and creatives, while others just want to make their lives better, like struggling with something, and here's where you can add their meet their needs with ads you're creating, right?
Yes, absolutely true. Everything starts with that everyone wants to make their life better. Everyone wants to live happier life, be healthier, be more fit. It's just for granted. So we have the first layer, which is emotions and people's desire. Another one is creative concepts. The difference is that a person wants, like, I want to live a happy life, right? But you can explain this happy life in endless different forms, right? And it's important for me in the morning, when I'm in the bed, I'm just checking my, I don't know, Instagram, and some concepts can be more appealing than others. At the end of the day, I might be in a different mood. might be more stressed with my work, and then some kind of more work-related content can be more appealing for me. This is why it's important that even for the same type of person or group of person, we can reach out to them with different messages, right? And people can react on these different messages differently, even throughout the day. This is why it's so important to have this product depth, to have a different selling points for a single app, and the more the better. For instance, we have workout apps. This is the best example because you can advertise these workout apps through endless selling points. For instance, right now we have Pilates, we have yoga, we have walking, right? So you may have one single app which just provides you different exercises, and then you can advertise this app through different angles. And then the more these angles you have, the more creatives you can produce, and the higher growth you can achieve with this app. And yeah, it's very important to understand that this product depth, it gives you growth. Actually, if you have only one creative angle, if you have only one creative concept, then you can be saturated pretty fast, and you can achieve much higher growth compared to a business which has 10 different selling points, right? So it's so important for a business. Okay, I know already a couple of selling points. I know already a couple of creative concepts which I actively leverage. Then it means I need to invest my time in finding more, in finding 3, 5, 10 different concepts. And then even if these concepts are not much profitable for me right now, I need to work on them to make them profitable in the future, just to make my business kind of future proof. And it's very important. I used to call it product depth, and I take a lot of attention there. Like when I look into kind of new businesses, one of the first questions which I'm asking myself is kind of, okay, what is the number of creative angles do they have? Do they know how to kind of how to produce these new creative angles? How to make them more, how to make them profitable, how to kind of reinvent their business again. It's very important. It's one of the most important factors for a team, and for me when I'm kind of evaluating a new teams to work with.
So you not only shouldn't be afraid of going too granular, because some mobile business owners, they might be afraid of, why would I highlight each and every feature? Maybe that's too much. No, your advice, you must go granular, find these different angles. And probably this is about testing, right? Because like to find these different creative angles, you need to have and generate regular a lot of hypotheses, brainstorm, and test them whether they work.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I just change it. Not I would not look at this problem from the app's feature perspective. It's not about the app. It's not about the app's features, right? It's about clients' needs. Plus, it's about clients' needs, which you can effectively communicate in ads, right? It's very important. It's very important to understand what is your platform, which you are going to use to deliver this message, right? Because, for instance, we have I don't know, influencer marketing, and we have ads. These are two different concepts. Two different channels, two different approaches, which are needed even to build the app itself. We know that we have this product platform feed, right? What is that? We should understand that different platforms gives us different users in terms of cost, in terms of value of these users, right? In terms of volume of these users. From influence marketing, let's say we can expect less number of users, but then can be much more motivated because they came to us by some recommendations, by recommendation of a person which they trust, right? So they came to us already, they have this trust, and we can expect from them to have to stay in our app much longer. While in ads, they didn't have much connection with us before. They just came from ads. They spent only 5 seconds with our ad, and then they spend some time in our funnel, and this is our user, right? So we can expect from them much lower retention metrics, much lower interest to the app itself, from another channel. This is why everything that is very important to see through the channel perspective as well, right? And maybe even having different funnels, different even products for different channels.
Yeah, so you shouldn't put eggs in one basket. You're totally right. Like what works in terms of influencer marketing might not work for ads and vice versa. So I guess you have noticed cases when like creatives for health and fitness like performed exceptionally well in terms of installs when users like tapped on an ad, downloaded an app, but like when you check out, I don't know, in 3 days, and then in a month, and then in like 6 months, have you noticed that the retention after that was pretty low? I think sometimes this happens, and you already highlighted that a bit, that with ads, like people are less motivated. They probably like were attracted by this ad, tapped on that, clicked on that, installed, but then they might quickly like drop it. So I don't know, is there a universal like tip, advice on how to avoid it and how connect your creatives for your ads, keeping in mind the lower funnel, how it goes like through some time to keep the retention higher?
Cool. Like, look, retention right now, it's a fundamental problem for any app in any vertical, and again, it's the nature of this problem is that for people there is a huge competition for people's time, and like any health and fitness app competes with YouTube first. Just because YouTube provides free trainings, free classes, and it consumes people time, right? So we have it's a huge fundamental issue right now is to compete for people's time. And again, we have this platform, which is the first layer kind of. What is the platform we are planning our app to be distributed, right? Again, if we're talking about kind of influencer marketing, for instance, or organic growth, there is a very interesting two cases of the apps for the last 2 years. The first one is Heavy, which is the workout planner. This app is interesting because the majority of the main growth driver for this app is fitness coaches, trainers. They just they just build plans for their clients there and distribute this in this way, distribute the app to their clients. Absolutely amazing way, and definitely people stay within this app until they work out with this particular coach, right? And then we can see that the main platform which drives the growth for this app is actually trainers. It's a fitness coaches. And yeah, we can expect much higher retention there because, like this personal touch is so important, is so big. There is another example. It's we have, for instance, Call AI, or we have Ladder app. Yeah, it's a very good example. Ladder app. They build their growth strategy on Instagram, organic growth. They partner with the with coaches, with fitness trainers, with some YouTube followers, right? And then again, people not using the app itself, they listen to the advices of this particular coach, of this particular trainer, and then start using the app itself, right? And then they can then this person transfers he or her trust to this app, make people more motivated, make people just trust this app itself much more, right? And the example of ads, we can see that the people were just acquired by the app with the very short attention span, and definitely they would not be that motivated to use the app itself compared to the previous examples, right? It's a fundamental problem, and like businesses know about that. They talk about that. They try to tackle this issue through different marketing channels, like using retention marketing, using email marketing, just to get people back to the app. But the fundamental here is trust. And another point is that different even creative types generate different trust, let's say, different quality of users. For instance, we can expect from video creatives much higher trust and much higher retention metrics and LTV simultaneously that from static creatives. It's very important, and it's very important for businesses to understand this difference and try to leverage this difference, because in the majority of cases people can measure creatives by CTR, and CTR in video creatives can be much lower, right? So like some metrics can be lower, some metrics can be high, and for businesses it's very important to find this difference and to react on this difference as well, right? For instance, I saw a lot of these cases. Okay, we don't run video because video has lower CTR, and they didn't measure the difference between LTV, between videos and static creatives. So there are like really small changes, small differences which can bring higher retention metrics. But overall retention, it's a huge challenge for all the apps right now, and I believe that competition are going to be even stronger and stronger, and business can be much more kind of creative, adding more value propositions to their products to make people stay with their apps and to use it longer, and to have higher LTV and more profitable, and make them more profitable. Yeah.
Again, very interesting thought. Something that's really new to me. You mentioned that creatives, like video creatives, they perform better than like static. This is completely new to me because I used to work for another company, and we had an A/B testing tool. And in most cases, adding a video to like App Store product page, it like dropped conversion, like it had a negative impact. And we tested that, and customers from many categories tested that, and it's an interesting thought to write down that lower CTR or lower instant conversion to downloads doesn't mean that the LTV and retention will be lower too, right? You should look deep, always look deeper. And back then we noticed that video worked really great for games, but didn't work for other categories. So people who are watching right now, that's really interesting.
But for gaming, I'm sorry for interrupting you. For games, you can see this difference even more. For instance, if you have a video with the, let's say, false UI, right, which is very popular, right, then you can expect much more frustration from people who install the app and they see that, like, okay, but that actual app doesn't look like that. I clicked on totally different ad, I totally clicked on totally different game and expecting to play a totally different game. But right now I see that, okay, it really looks like a game which I already have and played with, right? And then you may have to much higher drop off. This is why you have this balance. In this case, you have much higher CTR and much lower CPI, for instance. But then the LTV is going to be lower as well, just because a lot of people are gonna leave the app and won't play with that for a while. This is why it's equation. It's a trade-off which everyone needs to make the decision. And the most important here is to be ready for this trade-off and understand and be very flexible, expecting that, okay, this type of creatives can give much lower or higher user metrics, and our analytics should be sensitive enough to get this difference, right? And then we should be informed about that, and we should not compare, let's say, clickbait static creatives with high value, high quality video assets, right? Just because we receive different quality of users at the end.
Yeah, and by the way, we at Applica also had an interesting case with a video ad. It was run on Facebook, and the team noticed it was for an app. It's under NDA, but it's an app at the crossroads of navigation and like health and fitness. And so the team noticed that the creative used in this video run on Meta on Facebook performed especially well. It decreased like I don't remember exactly, probably CPI or a cost metric. It decreased by 41%, and then the team decided to check the cross-channel hypothesis, because in the industry we often discuss that what works for one channel might not work for another, so you should be aware of that. But we tested this creative from Meta, from a video ad, and applied to a custom product page in Apple Ads on the App Store, and it really worked. Upper funnel, but still the indicators upper funnel all improved, cost per purchase decreased, and other indicators improved. So I think that's also interesting, and it was a video ad. probably that also makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah, and you big topic, but can't but ask. You mentioned web to app. We talked a lot during our conversation about web to app funnels. So you were at the beginning of this era, basically, when I think a lot of mobile vendors and marketers didn't pay much attention to that. So it's very interesting to look at web to app through your eyes. How did it start, and why it appeared, in your opinion? What problems, issues marketers and app businesses were trying to solve back then?
Okay, cool. Actually, web to app was it was with us for a pretty while. Some of the business, it was pretty long time ago when businesses started using web to app, but it started to grow really aggressively when Apple released Scan Network and just changed the way how we get signals from Meta, right? And then advertising on using this on Scan, definitely using these new rules became much more difficult, and changed the way how businesses used to work, right? A lot of businesses started to, distribute reshuffled their budgets to add to Android, which increased competition there, and Android became less attractive as well. So then web to app became a really good solution, really good solution for that. And then what we found out that actually businesses managed to scale much bigger, started to grow on a much bigger scale compared to when they were on Scan, even before Scan was released. It's very interesting. And then fundamental difference and fundamental factor behind this growth is the following. I just talked with one CEO, and then he told me very interesting stuff. He said that we have a business, right? We have kind of 100 and more people who work on this business, and we are 100% depends on Apple policy. If Apple decides to send emails about the subscription renewals in a different way, then our business can be at risk, and we cannot control this. This is why they said kind of managing subscription by ourselves has its own fundamental strengths, and we need that even from the diversification standpoint. And they used to treat web to app as a third funnel, right? They have iOS, they have Android, and they have web to app, which is the third platform for them, which they can leverage to balance their risk and to diversify their revenue stream. This is a fundamental thoughts behind that.
Yeah, interesting. IDFA deprecation brought a lot of trouble. I remember those years, and I didn't think about the fact that a web to app emerged back then. Yeah, and interesting that web to app should be treated like a third funnel, like you mentioned, not a fifth wheel. That's not an excessive thing. That's something that can support your business. And what do you need for those who have less experience with web to app, or only starting, or want to start? What would you advise? What to do, to turn web to app in a long-term growth engine instead of a quick solution to something, quick hack to I don't know, remove the fire.
Yeah, cool.
What should you do?
Yeah, absolutely. What I found out, with businesses which have no and people which have no experience with web to app, they have total different mindset. It's like they just cannot even understand why they need the web funnel, right, in the first place. As I said, it's not about onboarding, it's about selling a product, right? Another misconception exists that if you have app business, you can easily track your competitors with Sensor Tower. With web to app, you don't track it. You cannot see, you cannot have this visibility what is happening with your competitor's app because Sensor Tower doesn't track it, right? Then what is this is why the most important is this expertise, actually, to have someone which you can ask what is going on and just to understand how it works. Just to have this, I don't know, to onboard you on this topic, it's very important, I believe. In the business sense, web to app right now, it's a content factory. It's the biggest expertise is needed, which is needed in this space is content, is creatives. As this is a content business, it's not the app business, it's a content business. This is why you need expertise to produce creatives on a huge scale. This is why classical app factories, it's very difficult for them to get into this business, just because in the majority of cases they don't have this web expertise. Even for gaming companies, in the majority of cases which I saw, they didn't have much of creative expertise, right? Specifically right now when we have AI and this overall business really speed ups dramatically, it's very difficult to get to follow it. So creatives and how to produce creatives, how to understand clients' needs, how to build your creatives based on these needs, how to build more creative concepts, how to make them profitable, and everything. It's all about creatives, and this is, I believe, 80% of success belongs to that. And every new business needs to understand how they can get this expertise for the team, how to get these people, how to get these talents which can build creatives for them, which can make creatives for them. And this problem is even more complicated because if it's a new business, you need to start with something. You need to make your first creative, your first successful creative. So probably you'll go to your competitors' creatives and find something for your inspiration. But then another stuff is, okay, if we found out something for the first time for us and we make it successful, we need to produce more to make our business grow, right? So this creative dilemma is pretty difficult, and for the starting point, it's probably the biggest challenge. Another one is, if you're talking about a business which operates on a scale, we need to think about automatization. Right now, this automatization has two different sides. The first one is creative production automatization. Another one, it's a media buying automatization. It's pretty important, pretty new topic, which is growing pretty dramatically, pretty fast, and the business needs to take it into account. Another one, again, web to app, on a bigger scale. It's very capital intensive niche. This is why it's very needed to have robust internal infrastructure when you can make LTV prediction reliably, and be sure that over time you won't overspend. And AI, yeah, absolutely. Like AI, this is the foundation for everything right now, specifically because this business is so heavy on creatives. And right now, all the creatives, they rely on AI, and this expertise, it's very much needed for a business right now. Yeah, so I would say these four pillars: content factory, AI, internal infrastructure, and automatization. These are four very essential for a successful business now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vasyl. And as for AI, maybe kind of provocative question, but you mentioned you need this expertise for building creatives when you are starting a business, and you can take a glance on what the competitors are doing. But anyways, you need to have this in-house expertise and produce creatives at scale. But can't you just delegate everything to AI, or it wouldn't work?
You need a person which would delegate this task to AI, right? So you need the person. We need someone who can speak for your business with AI, right? We are talking about building automatizations, building flows, and everything. In any case, we need people who are building ideas, who are thinking about ideas. So it's still very much people-heavy business. And right now probably we see this transformation from it's still become very much it's still very much people heavy business, but we see much and more people who work with AI within this business, right? So at least as of now, what I see, AI doesn't replicate people. It amplifies people, but let's see how it gonna evolve in the future.
I think a lot of people gonna love your response, since we all of us know, I think, about multiple layoffs, which unfortunately happened in the industry once AI was introduced, and it's so warm, it's heart melting that AI still cannot replicate people, and it can just amplify. So behind each AI campaign, I think there is a person who creates the right prompts, has expertise. So thank you, Vasyl. That's, I think everyone should become after your words. And let's talk about growth, because we are recording this podcast at the end of 2025, and the next year is right around the corner. I wanted to ask you, based on your expertise and background and what you are seeing, what are growth teams are still trying to optimize now, probably being too naive or limited in information, but that 100%, almost 100% wouldn't work in 2026. What should we drop and stop doing?
Yes, absolutely. Again, with the connection to this business, as it's a creative business. So what I see right now that a lot of teams still do a lot of iterations and do a lot of iterations of the existing concepts, right? But it's very visible that the real growth is within new creatives, within new creative concepts, within some new creative angles and approaches which businesses can produce and can attract people. So this is what I see. Don't over-rely on iterations. Think about new creative concepts, explore more, go much deeper, and then you can expect some much bigger growth. And this problem are going to be even more and more severe in the future as well. Another one, again, as I said, it's about App Store optimization and expecting for some organic growth, which is not coming, right, and won't come in the future as well. This is why it's important to refocus from some, let's say, technical factors to really marketing and really think about their users, why they should use the app, find different creative angles as much as possible, and then try to find a proper channel where you can communicate these messages to your people, and find a way how to grow your app. This is probably what I would say for the next year.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Vasyl. And is there anything like you mentioned that organic growth doesn't work, and even with big budgets, when the company has this big budget, is there anything that's still structurally hard or is getting harder to achieve for health and fitness, or it's like everything, the big budget doesn't solve all the problems and you need to find new value points to provide to users? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, absolutely. Even for bigger budgets, even for bigger companies, there are a lot of problems exist. Some of them are, right now we operate on the total transparent world. If you're talking about advertising, everyone can see competitors' ads in ads library. Even when you just starting testing something, your competitors can see it just instantly, right? And with AI, they can copy it very fast, really. And this is like a major threat for all of us. This year we already saw some circumstances on this, but this total transparency and speed changes the way how we need to operate. Another one is I see more and more businesses in this space. Smaller businesses, bigger businesses, everyone says that it becomes more and more complicated to operate, to enter the business, to grow, and this competition intensifies, and the next year it's going to be even more. And we need to understand and to answer this question for ourselves, what exactly are we going to do to protect us from this competition, because next year are going to be even more challenging. If you want to make any changes to our business, we can be whether less profitable or smaller in a size, something we need to all the time understand what strategically we do to protect us from competition. Another one is, again, ever exist regulatory pressure. When we have some policy changes on platforms, we had a lot of discussion about click to cancel threat. It's real. This year we had a couple of we have a couple of challenges with that. Next year we're gonna have something as well. This is why it's for especially for bigger businesses, it's very important one. To start something new, to start a new app became more expensive. Definitely next year going to be even more. So starting something new, to test something new, to test new creatives, we need to save, protect more testing budget for the next year just because of this inflation. And the most important one, probably the most important one, which has some threats and opportunities for us, which is AI. Right now, a business which doesn't have this very structural process of AI implementation is lagging behind. Next year is going to be even more. Specifically in creatives, it changes the way how we produce creatives every month. Every month we have some new model, some new way how we can provide creatives. Next year, I don't expect it's going to be different. It's going to be the same. And with this current speed, it's very difficult to follow all the changes what we have. And especially for bigger businesses, if you are smaller, you can copy something from your bigger competitor. If you are already leading and you want to stay on your leading position, you need to be the first one in implementing all the AI changes.
So if you are like ignoring AI still in 2025 and in 2026, you are leaving growth on the table because your competitors are already.
I don't know if there exists a business which ignores this. I don't believe that it exists.
Probably there are some that like don't highlight it much. Probably like people within this business, they use AI. Everyone now uses AI, but probably some founders still don't believe in it. Then I think it's something for them to think about. Yeah, and I also wanted to ask you about like being like, imagine you are an advisor to a new business founder. Like, what would you advise to a founder of a health and fitness app? But I think to future-proof growth, of course. But I think you've already shared like a great tip about like building your product, already keeping growth in mind, right? How you're going to promote it.
Yes, absolutely true. If you're talking about established businesses which already kind of have growth-proofed businesses, I would say that the first and most important one is to focus on a team, on a creative team specifically, and have this mentality that our creatives is our growth, right? So this is the first one. I believe it's nothing new, but still there are some businesses which don't prioritize that and try to find growth somewhere else. Another one, AI, as we said, AI automatization, create your production process, optimize it, make it more efficient, and really kind of make changes every month, because every month is different because of the speed of this industry. Another one, what I see right now, that maybe only one growth channel is not enough, right? Maybe we need to diversify our business model. And if you see on the leaders of this vertical, like Noom or Whoop, they add to their kind of core product offering something new. We have a lot of trend right now, which is focusing on lab analysis, when you can add and you can offer this analysis from inside the Whoop app, inside the Noom app, and you can add the results to the app itself, which is a huge retention driver. Another one is if you're talking about growth channels, for instance. I'm not talking about that if you're successful with Meta ads, you need to add Google ads. Probably not. I'm talking about if you're successful within ads, then try to find some growth somewhere else. Let's say organic content, or I don't know, email marketing, something which can be totally different. For instance, as I said, we have and try to implement, let's say, some growth layer inside the app, like social graph, for instance, a heavy app, it's, you know, or heavy, or ladder. They have like pretty strong social, or Whoop, for instance, they have pretty strong social graph inside, and people are used to, follow other people, and then having this social graph, you can expect people can stay within your app just to follow other people as well. Or let's say add virality. We have this last year case, we had Call AI, which are very kind of right now vocal how they managed to grow to the extent where they are, and they are talking about organic growth. They're talking about organic growth in TikTok, in Instagram, and trying to get something from their experience as well might be very, very beneficial for a brand. Another layer which can be added is, let's say, some uncopyable brand IP or expert authority. For instance, I follow a couple of interesting ads which are live for years already. So they made an ad with a very famous actor, and then they're using this for a very long period of time, just because no one of their competitors can copy this from them, right? So from one angle, it's pretty expensive to contract with someone that famous. From another angle, you can benefit from this creative for much longer period of time, and it might be profitable for you in the future, in this long period of time, and you can save kind of not being that fast, but at the same time using it pretty profitable for pretty long period of time. So what I'm trying to say that, okay, right now we see that competition is really growing. Right now, web to app, how to build funnels, how to build paywalls, how to build apps, it became pretty known across different businesses, which makes the competition with this vertical pretty intense. This is why let's think about, okay, what is the next step? What we can add to our marketing strategy or to our app or to our product offering, which could protect us from competition for a while, and we can benefit this position.
Yeah, so it's about making your app stand out from competitors, like either adding like community-based things work for now, viral loop, when you can advise an app, like share with your friends, add some such hooks. And if you have a budget, of course, you can partner like with big names. But there are risks, we are now living in the years when a celebrity can easily get cancelled, so then what are you going to do? So keep this in mind, because it's risky too. I'm just kidding, but I also saw some interesting ads, like for some Arabic airlines, I think, where like big actors and actresses participated, and it looked pretty cool. Yeah, Vasyl, thank you so much. We have had a really insightful conversation, but I still have a couple of personal questions for you. Like, what still excites you and drives you about working in the mobile space today? How to not get burnout? Your recipe, please.
Yeah, to not to be burned out, you need to live a whole life. You need to live not only with your work, but you need to have something outside of that. What really excites me in this business is people. I work with a lot of very, very brilliant people, which I can learn from all the time. And this business is very fast. It's not the same. Every year is different. Every year has different challenges, and it feels different every time. Yeah, but majority of this, it's all about people. It's all about people. I like them. I like work with them. I like learn from them as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very important who surrounds us. And if you were invited to take part in a TED Talk, I think everyone knows TED Talks, which topic would you pick for your talk?
Interesting. Yeah, I would like to have something kind of very simple, but at the same time very powerful. Probably I would like to talk about, based on my experience, let's say, I would like to experience that and then to have a TED Talk, and I would name it "How to Be Happy," how to live happy life. Yeah, but before that, I need to find it out for myself.
Great answer, thank you. And Vasyl, I cannot let you go without a blitz. I prepared a blitz especially for you, very short story. Just give me a second. So, you can answer just what comes to your mind. The first one, performance marketing or brand?
Performance marketing for sure.
Data first or intuition first?
Data first.
Work at office or remote forever?
Work at office.
Gym or outdoor activity?
Outdoor.
A book or a podcast?
Book.
Fast growth with lots of failures or slow but sustainable?
Something between. Yeah. Very difficult.
Trade-off, like we talked today, right?
Trade-off. I had both of them, and both of them are different. Probably fast growth. Yeah.
And last, simple, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Coffee in the morning and tea in the afternoon.
How many cups do you have per day?
I try to have not more than 2 espressos. 2 espressos, yeah.
That's within the recommended dose. So thank you so much, Vasyl. I really liked our talk today, Growth by Design. You've shared a lot of insights, tips, from some advice from your personal background and from your working now with clients at Meta. Thank you so much. I enjoyed our conversation, and I really believe that the audience will do too. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.